Hi everyone, it's me. Welcome to my channel. Let's do a tarot card reading and a little astrology for this full moon today. Members, you are going to get an extended, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. The reason this video didn't come out sooner is because I'm working on something else that was supposed to come out today, but because of the world events that happened as they have, especially in Eastern Europe, all that craziness, and just in Canada as well. I know some of you are Canadian. It's just been a lot to think about and process, right? And so I also wanted to use this as a teaching opportunity because, of course, there is a transit called the Medusa eclipse that's happened right now over the last weekend. So I made the video earlier today and it's linked in the bottom and at the end. So if you're curious about Medusa, Algol star, I went in depth with some practical examples. So go check that out if you want. And because of that, I didn't do the video I was intending for you for right now. So instead, in order to kind of talk about this full moon, because it's kind of important, we'll do a dedicated short video on the full moon, and then I'll do the video I've been planning next. So in other words, the astrology is short today, but I do want to show it to you guys, and then I'll do a full tarot card reading, and there will be a extended for members who are all stars. So thank you guys for being members. And I'll be getting to individual zodiac sign readings soon. It's just a lot of transits happening now that are worth talking about first. Okay, so the full moon happened this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and that's February 26th, 9 a.m. 16th. Why is it in my head 26? I filmed this a couple times, and each one I said the wrong thing. Okay, so we'll keep going. This is not so bad. So February 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is about noon on the East Coast. And what happened was that it was in the 28th degree, 27th degree, 59 minutes of Leo, and that was squaring the nodes, which are here at 27 degrees. So that's a pretty big aspect for a full moon. And basically what this means is that there's some kind of distraction from the general flow of your life. The south node to the north node can be interpreted in many ways, but a good way to think about it for our purpose is that the flow of life is carrying us in a particular direction. And when there is a full moon or a new moon that is 90 degrees from that, it's completely distracting. It's a side quest. If you like video games, you're just going in a 90-degree angle. So you're making a right turn on something. So something's come up in your lives that is somewhat of a distraction. And there's some reasons to think about how important that is, because the events that are happening now, and this is saved for the next video, are going to have huge consequences on us moving forward for the rest of the year. We're really sowing seeds here in February and March, and the consequences of what is happening now will be very hard to get rid of right until November. So be very weary of your interactions, of any kind of confrontations, passing the buck on something, not engaging with something, saying no to something you really want, or putting something off. All of those kinds of energies are not they're not good for us at this time. At this time, it's a really good idea to do what you need to do, because for the rest of the year, the consequences of this full moon will be with us. And that's literally what I made this whole video about, to tell that to you, because I didn't want to forget, or I didn't want to avoid reminding you that with this full moon, whatever's happening in your life, it's very important for you to be aware that the choices you're making right now will have consequences. So be hyper aware, be really honest with yourself. If you know you're not doing what you should be doing, or if you know you really want to do something but you're not doing it, this is your wake-up call. This is your time to do what is authentic to you, and this is what is important. So let's break down this a little bit. I'll talk about the full moon in greater detail in the second video and explain why I'm just telling you all that, but just trust me at this point, and then I'll explain later. So the sun is at 28 degrees of Aquarius as well. That's in detriment, which means the sun is not in a strong position in Aquarius. Of course, all Aquarians out there, that's what makes you special, that's what makes you weird, and it's a good transit nonetheless. It's still not a bad thing for you, you know, as an individual person who has a birthday this season or who is an Aquarian sun. The moon is in the third decan, 28 degrees of Leo. That's ruled just by one planet for both modern and traditional astrology, and that's Mars. And so here is the two parts of this full moon. The first part is this: pay attention to what you're choosing, what you're doing, because the consequences will get stuck to you like glue. The second one is the conjunction between Mars and Venus, which is exact today. So, you know, it started with Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's. And I'm sorry I didn't put out a Valentine's video for you guys. I just felt the other content was way more interesting. It's like, do you want to make a video about Valentine's, or do you want to talk about the transits that are super active? So I made the call to talk about the things that are really interesting. But anyway, the exact conjunction between Mars and Venus is happening today, or happened in the last 24 hours. They will continue to transit right into Aquarius. So it's a nice long transit until April. So Mars and Venus represent the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the yin and the yang principle. So when they're in harmony, good things happen in relationships. Some of the feedback I've been having about this transit is that nothing's happening for me in love, or I'm single. If you're in that situation and you're not getting swept away, whatever, it's not necessarily, it may have to do with your personal transits, because there's such an emphasis in Capricorn. So if Capricorn's not the easiest energy for you, that could be one of the reasons why. The other aspect is Capricorn energy to me, and if you have a Capricorn mother or a mother with a Capricorn moon, you understand this. My mom has a Capricorn moon. It's a lot of indirect kindness. It's a lot of indirect support. How do I articulate this? It's not indirect, it's subtle. It's like they give you what's good for you, even if you don't really understand it yet. And it's in retrospect that you really appreciate how good it is. So if you're feeling like there's not that much love, or if you're stressed out about the Algol situation, the Eastern European front, then maybe be just patient with the Venus and Mars energy. If you're not feeling so much love yet, I think it's coming. And furthermore, I'm going to do more content on that. It's just, I've decided to just take it one step at a time and get it all done and do it right instead of rushing through it, because there's no point in rushing. I'm not Russian. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's my Russian joke. I'm Polish. So anyway, so yeah, Venus and Mars are together. I couldn't get through this being serious. Sorry. Okay, Venus and Mars. It's my favorite joke. I no offense to the Russians. I love Russian people, but yeah, it's my little Russian joke. Okay, so, and I don't know if it's funny. I don't know, it makes me laugh. Okay, so Venus and Mars are joined together in Capricorn, and they're transiting together. Over the last few days, the 9th through the 12th, there was the events going on in Eastern Europe. That's what my last video was about, the Medusa one. And so that was a conjunction with Mercury and Pluto. Venus and Mars are going to join Pluto on March 2nd. So that's going to be another high point energetically that can really elevate the situation. And a little bit of a rewind, the Mercury-Pluto conjunction that we were talking about one aspect of it. Like I said in a previous video, a couple videos ago, there's a lot of productivity in Capricorn. There's a lot of momentum forward, a lot of opportunities to succeed. So I would say focus on that and just be receptive to, you know, other types of energies. So yeah, so I actually wanted to show you guys something, and maybe this is a good time to kind of show you. So there's two things in that. This is not a political video. I just want to throw this in. But since we're talking about the Medusa, I'll just tell you guys right now. So basically one little thing, or one major thing that happened a couple days ago, was that the French president, as you saw in the video, went to Russia to negotiate peace with Gaston, with Putin. And so he left, and then suddenly there was this, yeah, let's diplomatic talks, let's figure it out, let's work it out, whatever. And the moon hit Taurus. And this was on the 8th through the 9th, right? And then the moon entered into that late stage of Taurus, and that's when the war machine, propaganda, journalism, WW3, all of this kind of stuff happened. So we went very drastically. I was paying attention to the news. We went from this peacetime diplomacy slant to suddenly, direct confrontation. It's on like Donkey Kong kind of sounding headlines. So I just wanted to highlight for you guys that if you're interested in Medusa, Medusa is a star at 27 degrees of Taurus, and I forgot to put it in the videos, and then I was like, nah. So just for those of you who are really into it, it was that transit of the moon that just opened everything up and activated all this. And this is how a trine can be quite negative, right? So the trine isn't necessarily in of itself a benefic aspect. It's a superhighway aspect. So when the moon activates it, which is generally a good transit, it just opened everything up, opened up the Pandora's box. The second thing I want to show you guys about this, and sorry if you don't like the politics, I just want to show you something. A couple days on Twitter, I threw this in the video today, but I didn't highlight it. I said today is the Medusa algal eclipse again, and Mercury is in Aquarius. So for the last 24 hours, I've been getting messages about software, computers, phones. Careful around technology today. So this was on Twitter, and so what I was indirectly saying was about Eastern Europe, but I didn't want to overkill it, so that's what I was referring to. And lo and behold, there was a cyber attack on Ukrainian military, infrastructure. So I was pretty shocked at how correct that was. So just to show you guys what I was referring to, there was, of course, still the aspect to the North Node, which will be around for the next several days. But Mercury has now moved into Aquarius, which makes it about technology. It's just making me feel more sure that moving forward, we're looking at energies of technology and all of those things. So that's what I wanted to tell you. By the way, I fixed my recording. It was my fault. I set a setting wrong and forgot about it because I was using a new software. And now I figured it out, and my videos were coming out so dark, but my old software was really filming poorly. So today is not a great day, but I'm so excited. Mercury went direct, and now I finally get it. So good for me. Anyway, so that's the rundown on the astrology. Sorry if it was a little bit fast, but I'll get into it more. Oh, I want to tell you another aspect that's in line of today's full moon. Just give it a nod. So there is a nice sextile between Jupiter and Uranus. So when Jupiter and Uranus are in a sextile, this is giving us opportunities towards new things. So if you're going down the road and living your life, doing your best, at this time, it's very successful to find opportunities in new adventures. So, find a new way to work. Go to a new coffee shop on your way to work in the morning. Whatever it is that you're doing, just do it a little bit differently, or open yourself up to a new experience. It could be very lovely, and it can be very positive for you. So that's the sextile that's happening alongside this square. So the square in and of itself, I will be honest, it's not the easiest energy. It's not the most comfortable energy, but this conjunction between Venus and Mars is just beautiful. And then the sextile between Jupiter and Uranus, is also goals. And they're all sorts of like 3 different energies. So they're good. They're good. Enjoy yourselves and look for the positive, watch out for the negative, and make sure that the decisions that you're making now, you're very conscious of the fact that you may not be able to get rid of them. So for example, if you're in conflict with someone and you have the feeling that you want to talk back and say something, this is a time in which you can get yourself involved into some long-winded situation that you won't be able to get rid of for 5 or 6 months. So be wary of like beware of what is it, wrestling with pigs, you'll get covered in dirt, or be wary of provoking situations, anything like that, anything that you feel trepidatious towards. It could turn out to be a long-winded situation that is going to be causing you some degree of resistance for your flow, progress forward. So just a word to the wise, and you guys are pretty wise. And so, yeah. So let's go for the tarot. So I tried to make it fast. I mean, 15 minutes is pretty good to cover all this. And I will talk about this more later. To those of you who don't like astrology, who don't like the political stuff, that's minimal. I will try to keep it to tarot talk only, but this is a special situation. And if you're wary by what I said, just in summary, in that Medusa reading, I got long-winded because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But essentially what I'm saying is February 12th was a close call. There was a very close call to a major international conflict. And it is days like this and transits like the Medusa one that can spark a very bad conflict in a trepidatious situation. And that's why I think there was a media blackout on it, because they don't know the astrology, but the people, the journalists, the politicians knew how hairy of a situation it was. Okay, so don't worry about it. Don't be scared. I was just trying to point out to you guys how close calls happen in astrology, and I would have never made the video had I thought something would happen. Besides the fact that people in Yemen have been suffering, that's a terrible thing that we should really think about and bring to the forefront of our discussion. So not to minimize that, but in this comparison to a global conflict versus a regional conflict, it's all very terrible. Okay, so that's all. If you don't like the politics, that's all I needed to say about that. So let's get back into the tarot. Okay, so let's see what this full moon in Leo, meow meow, has for all of us. This is a collective reading. So let's see what we have. So we have, first of all, this is nice actually energy. So in terms of the distraction that I was telling you, I think that personal relationships will require us to sideline some of our priorities. So our relationships with others, our support for others, is going to require from us to have some kind of a distraction from our goals and ambitions. It's the 5 of Pentacles. Personal relationships are going to matter. And that matters. That makes sense for a full moon in Leo, because of course that's a heart opener energy. So it's all about the heart and relationships, no matter what sign you are. It's all about being close with others. And that may not necessarily be alignment with the North Node, getting things done in Taurus and so forth. So we're going to figure out a way through. That is the question of this time. Then we have the World card as the second card. Look for information on how to deal with things in the outside world. Look for stimulus from beyond where you are to help you understand your current situations. I have a really strong feeling that our answers are coming from beyond our immediate environment. So look further, look beyond, and I think you'll find some answers that will be helpful to you. Women might be experiencing some kind of power struggle. I don't know, because I had to refilm this. As I said, I made a couple little errors that I needed to keep out of this, but this is a very strong masculine energy full moon. We're in the solar house of Leo, right? And there's the sun and the third decan, which is ruled by Mars in in Capricorn. So we have very yang, very masculine energy. So the feminine could be kind of frazzled, and that can show up as conflicts with your female friends. This could be a miscommunication with other females. This could be a lack of direction when you're thinking of what you actually want to do. So just a general energy of frazzle might come up with this full moon. And then masculine defensiveness. Okay, so standing up for yourself, Seven of Wands for the masculine energy, and really standing up for yourself, putting your foot down on things. Some of you may be feeling as though putting your foot down on something is very important. You might feel motivated to do that. You might feel empowered to do that. The next message is the star, beautiful little star. Okay, so this is, okay. So in your environment, there's some very lucky things between the world and the star. I have a feeling that there's things on the precipice for you. There's things on the horizon. And I don't know if all of you are aware of what those things are. So if you're feeling like suppressed by your current circumstances, there's things coming very, very soon. And we have some very good transits on the way. Like I said, with this Capricorn energy, it's all like Capricorn energy is good for you. It's not necessarily about fulfilling your desires. It's about doing the right thing and doing the healthy thing. So healthy things are coming. But between the star and the world, I really feel as though something expansive, bigger is around you. And I feel like it's coming your way. There's like, yeah, there's just something bigger, something expansive coming your way, coming into your life. And this is like, especially environmental, if you feel like you don't have many friends, or maybe the friends you have, you're not necessarily on the same page anymore as them. Because remember, we have the Five of Pentacles here. There is like better friends. The one thing that I'm getting from this is like, don't make decisions too quick with this Saturn. You're not in a rush. And I think the mistake would come is if you rush into something at this time and get stuck in this square that we're seeing. So this square can make you stuck right until November. And like I said earlier, I'll tell you guys more about this in the next video. That's what I'm working on, and this is why this one is coming out now. So next we have the Queen of Swords. I love this Queen of Swords. One of you guys is telling me I'm her Queen of Swords, which I love. And this is the energy. I wish. She's so beautiful. So Queen of Swords energy. If you have a family member who has Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra energy, they're going to be very important right now. Otherwise, a family member of any sign may have important information to tell you. So be on the lookout for what they have to say and why. There's something important. There's news coming to you. So let's kind of settle this down and talk about it a bit. I have a feeling that whether you're female energy or masculine energy, you're feeling a bit, how do you say, nervous, for lack of a better word, or maybe kind of frazzled. And so this is the square. No need to panic. Everything's going to be okay. But if you're the feminine, you may feel more frazzled. On the masculine side, you may feel more defensive. So feeling as though you need to draw the line on things like that. But overall, I feel as though your answers are coming, maybe not right now, but they're coming within a few weeks, maybe a month, 2 months. And they will come in the form of new friends, new opportunities, something different than your current environment. So there's something about your environment that has worn out. And so if you're feeling distress or dis-ease, then I feel like it's very likely that there's an outside solution coming in for you, whatever it is in your life. And then furthermore, there's a very clear message coming to you from somebody who's very close to you. And like I said, this is probably a woman, possibly an air sign, but whoever she is, she has a message. And then for some of you, this will be a man as well, but they'll be more of an effeminate man. So yes, it's all about, this reading is all about your relationships. And there's like a balancing act here between caring for others and then keeping on course. And that's what squares are all about. So let me show you again. So a square is a problem because you have focus right here in energy, and then there's a focus here. So which way do you go? Because you can only pick one at a time. So the success in dealing with a square, I have a square natally in my chart. So when I was born, there was a square in the sky. So I'm pretty good at navigating them. And so basically what you have to do is kind of address both. And people run into problems when they emphasize one over the other, because then you begin to kind of suffer. So you use the astrology to strategize. And what I'm telling you with this full moon is to kind of do both. The relationships, the Leo, the open heart, activate something, somebody wants attention, give them attention, but then still keep focus with the things that are important in your life. Okay, so it's a little bit of a balancing act. Okay, so here is the next card. We have the Empress. Okay, so I feel as though a feminine energy, this could be a wife or a mother or a sister, strong feminine energy could be asserting themselves at this time. There could be some degree of requirements, there could be some degree of demands, and there around that there may be some adjustment period that may need to happen. Also, some of you are making plans to go somewhere for a trip. I just heard that Canada is loosening their travel restrictions, so it's easier to travel as a vacation. Yes, girl, yes. Like, where are we going? To Mexico? Is this it? So Veroosh has been a good girl. I haven't gone anywhere, so maybe this is the time. So maybe some ladies out there are ready to travel. Some of you are ready to go somewhere else. And so maybe with this full moon, you're feeling that itch. You're feeling ready to kind of mix it up. Okay, so then we have the Death card, which is right at the center of things. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let go of some things. This is a strong message. If something is, anything that's showing resistance, like I said with that comment about the moon and Medusa. So the important thing is, and why I'm mentioning it now, is when the moon came here, right? It illuminated, it showed, like the moon in the tarot card, it shows the underbelly of things, and it showed us some things about the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. You know, there was like a lot of inconsistencies in media going on. Like one side was saying war, and then another one's like, what are you talking about? There was a lot of like weirdness, and that's the moon over that, showing the truth, showing what's hidden. So it's not the literal truth, but it kind of points in the right direction. And so this square is a very similar energy in that it shows you, again, the moon, it illuminates for you something, a heart desire, a heart problem, what you actually need. And it will also show you, because it's a square, the things that are distractions, because they're going to act up, the things that are making you feel unwell. And so I can just encourage you, as things show up in your life at this time, to remove them. Simply, if it's feeling unwell at this time, it's a big red flag. It's a flag saying, change something about it. Maybe you're allowing certain behaviors, certain activities, certain people into your life that are causing you a certain degree of distress, but you're letting it happen. And maybe with this full moon, there's like insight into that. Then we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, walking away on your own, walking away from a situation. It's very clear here. It's like, I'm going to go in my own direction. I know what's right. I know what's important. Very, very clear decision that you're making. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Now, if you have a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn in your life, or if they are a male, they could be potentially very lucky for you at this time. So there's someone who's very lucky, bringing a lot of positivity and good energy in. There's someone who's deciding to go on a journey. So this can literally mean you going in a new direction. And The Knight of Pentacles is on a quest, on a mission, and you don't have to be an earth sign to be represented by this card. This is someone who's going somewhere. They've decided. And this is showing up here and here, kind of turning your back, going in a different direction. It's destined. It's going to bring success. So many of you are turning directions, and this is to do with the full moon. But like I said before, this is all connected to other transits like the stellium in Capricorn right now. And so they're all working together. This is a very special time in which we're making our decisions, deciding who we are, and deciding where we're going to go. So use that well, you know? Okay, so here is the next message. We have the Seven of Cups. So you're waiting on an answer, possibly from this person, but for someone. And I really feel as though the lack of clarity has a lot to do with some back and forth energy between you and another person. So the fact that you're not getting the full answer has something to do with an interpersonal aspect of your relationship. There's a lack of clarity. Like, you just need an answer. It's like, how do you say this? Like, your roommate is moving out and you're like, are you moving out or not? Question mark. Seven of Cups. And they're like, I don't know. I can't tell you yet. I'll tell you in 2 days. So you're kind of waiting in limbo on the answer from someone else. There's a piece of information that you're waiting to hear on. And it is very, oh, look at this. Hanged Man comes in. Exactly. That's the energy. Waiting on someone. Somebody's putting you on hold. And it's karmic. I hate to say it, but it's karmic, which means that maybe you made them wait at some point, and now they're making you wait. Or there's something like, or maybe they feel that you've made them wait. You know, it could be all sorts of different things, but it's connected to the past and how things were. It's how do you say? It's historic. Like, it has some it's not an isolated incident. It has to do with something of the past, okay? So it has something to do between your relationship as a response, or even unintentionally so, but it's a response, a retort. And then we have the Six of Cups right here. There's strong energy here for Scorpios. So this is Sun in Scorpio. This is the Scorpio card. If you're with a Scorpio, so if you're happy with a Scorpio, maybe something about the situation will change. But if you're unhappy, or if you're having a difficult time with someone who has heavy Scorpio placements, there could be a very big change coming for you right now. Scorpios are going through, by the way, if you're a Scorpio, don't be scared, but you are going through a major South Node transit at this time. These are very important for us. They really clean our life up. I'll do a dedicated video on the nodes, but again, I'm trying to pick the right times to do it. But suffice it to say, some people who have relationships with people who have Scorpio placements, there may be some kind of revision. There may be an ending for some of you. There may be a pivot or change. If you don't have a relationship with a Scorpio, there's a fundamental change within a relationship. I think that there's going to be a much more independent feeling with this full moon, and yet there's going to be a bigger, how do you say, recognition of the need of others in our lives. So how we're going to be thinking a lot about needing and wanting people in our lives. And because of that, we're going to make a lot of decisions about what we want and what we need. The next message is the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy. So that's that Venus and Mars. And in this position, careful approach to something, turning your back on something, making a decision. If you're making a decision to walk away from something, really watch out that it's not motivated by anger or heavily built on resentment. It should be a neutral decision, or a decision about being excited about the future towards something new. The stronger that you say no, the stronger that you hang up the phone, the stronger that emotion is, the less favorable it is for you at this time. So try to make it as neutral as possible. Try to make it just based on your needs not necessarily as a response to something that you don't like, right? It shouldn't be a, you know, tossing the hair and bye Felicia. You don't want to be in that energy. You want to be more focused on the future and maybe indifferent towards the past, right? So really saying goodbye to something. Then we have the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is my position that really signifies something less favorable. That doesn't mean that this person is not favorable. It just means that something connected to this person is disadvantageous for this time. Maybe because we are balancing between relationships and being independent. A King of Cups that requires a lot of, you know, emotional dynamics between yourself and someone else might be a bit of a distraction at this time. So maybe this is like the question, like overly, if you're dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or if they're a man, but any other sign, someone who, I would describe this as someone who is very like emotional, very seeking like deep conversations. If there's someone around you that's that type of person, ask yourself if you're just wasting your time musing around. That doesn't mean that this person is a waste of time, but it feels as though there's a lot of like lingering going on, and so that lingering is not good for you at this time. And remember, the consequence of lingering could be that North Node square, which is like, you know, consequences till November. So do what you need to do, focus on yourself, and anything that is healthy and beneficial for you that can stay, stays, and anything that distracts from that should be, you know, at least put on pause, right? So yeah, so be careful with the lingering with this King of Cups. It's just saying that it's bringing it like a unhealthy energy. And again, if you love your King of Cups, if you love this person, then maybe this is just a sign that this is a time to make it go slow rather than fast. Okay, so next line we have the Six of Wands. You're having a win-loss situation with the Queen of Swords. You have a victory and then you have a struggle. There's a constant back and forth. The more that I'm looking at this, I feel like if your relationship with this Queen of Swords is contentious, I think you should stay away, basically, sidestep. I think that just the energy spent on trying to work this out, there's something very unstable going on here if it's negative, and so it would be dragging you down. And so this really feels like you think you finally figured it out, you finally have a victory, Six of Wands, and then something happens, and then once again we have this moon, you know? So this is a time astrologically in which it's a time of extremes. It's a time of lows and highs and twists and turns. So if you're trying to maintain stability, if something is showing up as sometimes very negative or sometimes very distracting, this is a time to deprioritize it, because I think the consequences of this time, as I said in the beginning, are really going to last till November. So choose how you spend your time wisely. Also, with your mind, and I just want to give a nod to this, if you find yourself any behaviors that you find yourself wasting time on, you know, if you're disassociating on the internet, a lot of people do that. That's why I mentioned it. If you're wasting time or if you're getting stuck in emotional things, if this King of Cups is you, even if you're a woman, then this is a time to really take a look at that. If you're feeling very lonely, you know, aloneness can be a great barrier, especially to women. Just sorry to the guys out there, but society makes women alone. Just know this. Let's not talk about it in detail, but if you're feeling lonely or alone, I understand and I sympathize, but I think priority so being alone and being lonely is different than the feeling it. And so at this time, do whatever you can to talk to yourself, to address the feeling so you can focus on something else for the time being. It's a very tough situation, easier said than done, but the Five of Pentacles really is telling me, like, be careful of these distractions, because feeling lonely will stop you from going out, will stop you from trying things. And I think that that will, like I said, the square on the nodes can really cause some consequences and can really cause some delays. So you don't want to do that. I have an eagle. It's sunny today, and the eagle is flying right in front of me. The spring eagles, they get so excited, you know, when the sun starts showing up again, because we have a very dark winter. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords next, which is Moon in Libra. There's a decision up ahead, and I think many of you are feeling it, but I don't think you need to worry about it yet. So, you know, it's on the horizon, it's coming, there's a decision out there, but and I think that all the information isn't in yet, so wait. I think there's a lot, this is saying there's, you know, I think many of you are anticipating some things in your life, and I think part of the feelings that you may be feeling at this time is anxiety or distress about having to make the decision now, whereas I don't think it's time yet. I think this is clearly saying that wait for more information to come in, wait for things to develop further while you work on some stuff that's right in front of you. Okay, so that expansion is coming very soon, maybe with the eclipses. And then we have the Nine of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces. So there's a very lucky event that's happening in April. Jupiter and Neptune are joining in Pisces. This is going to be one of the luckiest days of many people's lives. And this is in a position in which it could be quite hidden as to what it is. And I've been getting that all year, that there's something coming up for each and every one of you that is going to be very, very lucky and very, like, positive. So if you are not happy with your current situation, with your current life, I really recommend not making decisions about it until April. You have to just go live your life and live it as best you can right now, and things will change in the very near future, and many of you will experience very lucky times ahead. So you want to get yourself in the best situation possible. Ignore the negative, ignore the distractions, ignore the loneliness, and prioritize enjoying your life for the next 2 months, so that when this comes, it's just such a boost of energy on top of something that you've built that's already positive, right? So you're kind of on vacation in sense of having to decide something, do something. We're all sort of waiting for this event to come up in our lives. And for different people, it'll start at different times, but that conjunction, I think it's April 8th, is pretty powerful. So we'll talk about it soon. And then we have the Six of Swords moving forward. Yeah, this is clearly saying many of you are moving forward in a new direction. Many of you are moving forward alone. And this reminds us, our first card, the Five of Pentacles, don't be afraid of being alone. How many of you, I have, been in a relationship in which the fear of being alone has kept you in longer than you should have? Many people have, friendship, relationship, whatever. And so this Six of Swords is don't be afraid, move ahead, whether it's a situation, whether it's love, whether it's a friendship. If it's bringing you distress, if it's making you unwell, if there's a boom and bust cycle, it might not be for you. And stick to your guns, stick to your resolutions that you're figuring out now. Four of Cups. Okay. So again, at this time, what you're getting back, and then the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So this is good. I like this. So what you're getting back, and I said this already, it's not that it's underwhelming, but it is not what it will be. So it's just the foothills of what's coming. So the Four of Cups is there will be some kind of positive indication that's coming your way. The good stuff is coming later, but here the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, it's really pointing to the fact that overall, just like that Capricorn energy, it's building up something good, but it's not, it's good. It's good for you. It's not necessarily what your imagination dreamt of. So allow it to happen and trust that you'll be happy with it when the process is done. And you may not be fully aware of everything that is happening. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Members, I'm about to do the clarifier for this, so go into the description, and please enjoy my Lilith Medusa video, the two demons, Veroosh and the two demons. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Have a nice day. Bye.